Good evening and welcome to the Pharaohs Rally coverage on Eurosport. Today was day 8, special stage 9 from Hurghada to Hurghada, a 267-kilometer loop, the secrets of the Red Sea. But first we're looking back at yesterday's special stage 8 from Aswan to Hurghada. This was Saeed Al-Hajri, who continues to lead the rally after the sudden demise of Gubertorial the previous day when he got stuck on the top of a cliff. This yesterday, with a flat tyre, was Alan Ambrosino, finishing third on the stage for Citroen and moving into second place overall behind Saeed Al-Hajri. Al-Hajri, the Qatari driver who won the Pharaohs Rally in 1985 for Rothman's Porsche, now leading it as he crosses a dried riverbed, a wadi, in his Rothman's Mitsubishi Pajero. So great performance by the Desert Prince, as he's affectionately known. Al-Hajri driving with Henry Mang at one of the checkpoints on yesterday's stage of the Pink Gazelles. Behind Al-Hajri, Timo Salonen and also Alan Ambrosino. Salonen, the winner of the stage yesterday. Here in the 206 Citroen, these little Citroens, desert Formula One cars, immensely strong, 330 horsepower. Conceived and built by Jean Todt and his team at Peugeot Talbot Sport prior to Todd leaving for Ferrari this July. Citroen desperate to beat Mitsubishi on this rally, but at the moment it's not looking so good. A lot of problems for the Citroen team with punctures and broken transmissions. Nonetheless, Salonen doing a good job, continuing on his charge towards the Red Sea yesterday. Once again we see Al-Hajri at speed in the mountains, some of these mountains reaching 7,000 feet here in the eastern desert of Egypt. Flashing his lights, Pierre Lartigue. Lartigue winning yesterday's stage. Lartigue comes into one of the checkpoints, very experienced desert raider. Comes from Algeria, although he's French, 44 years old. Won a lot of rallies in his time, of course the most famous being the Paris-Beijing in 1992 with Citroen. But Lartigue running extremely fast yesterday. But after problems earlier in the rally, still 5th overall behind Al-Hajri, Ambrosino, Schlesser, Jean-Louis Schlesser and his teammate Salonen. Still following Lartigue. Now we see Alan Ambrosino, third on the stage yesterday. As we said earlier, moving up into second place overall on the rally behind Al-Hajri, but still 48 minutes behind. But there's still 4 days to go in the rally, and 48 minutes means nothing with the distances involved. And still staying with yesterday's stage of the Pink Gazelles from Aswan to Hurghada, picking up Jordi Arcarons, the man who has led the rally since the second day, a Egyptian Raibadar winning the first day stages, but since then, Jordi Arcarons from Spain on the Cagiva Marathon, taking over the lead of the rally, and he's stayed there ever since. Arcarons just a few seconds ahead of his teammate, Eddie Orioli of Italy, on the stage yesterday, finishing 3 minutes 10 seconds in the overall standings ahead of him. Here the two are riding together. Arcarons on the Lucky Strike Cagiva and Orioli on the Albatross Cagiva. The man who won the stage yesterday, though, Franco Pico, in third overall, took that stage, his second stage win on his KTM 600 against these Cagiva 750s. So no change in the order of the bikes at the moment. Arcarons setting all the early running. Here he comes across one of the mountain valley floors, twin headlights ablaze, showing great style on the 750 Cagiva. Ducati engines on these bikes. And this is his teammate Orioli on the Albatross version of the same bike. Numbers 3 and 2 racing across the desert as Franco Pico takes the stage win, but finishes the day in third overall. And behind them, a great performance by Germany's Jutta Kleinschmidt. She finishes fourth on the stage and moves into fourth position overall ahead of Marmaroli and Montebelli. So that's the story of the bikes from yesterday. We're going to take a short break in a minute and look at what happened today on the loop they made from Hurghada. 267 kilometers as Kleinschmidt comes to the end of the stage. Stay here on Eurosport for Pharaohs Rally. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back to Eurosport. This is Egypt and this is Marco bringing you all the news from today, day 8 of the 12th Pharaohs Rally. The Pharaohs Rally, the 5th of this year's FIA World Cup Cross-Country Championship. These are the scenes at Hurghada as they made a 267 kilometer loop out into the desert and back again to the Red Sea. There you can see on the map how it goes out northeast from Hurghada, forming a rough triangle and back into the Red Sea Resort. We pick up immediately today Timo Salonen, who wins today's stage at an average speed of 115 kilometers an hour, despite these conditions. Sand to start with, then the mountains, and then sand again, and mountains in the final part. Very tough going indeed today. Timo Salonen, the man who won the 1985 World Rally Championship for Peugeot, wins yet another stage. He's now won 3 stages on this rally. He won the first stage, the 5th stage, and today's 9th. And this is the vast sea of sand in the northern part of the eastern desert of Egypt. Speeds of up to 205 kilometers an hour from these 330 horsepower Citroens crossing a wadi, one of these dried riverbeds, and a biker just in the background there. He's just passed. And Salonen driving with Britain's Fred Gallagher. Gallagher equally experienced, the man who's won the Safari Rally 3 times, the Ivory Coast Rally twice, and very much at home with Citroen in the desert. This is on the return leg, going back towards Hurghada, where this afternoon they had a chance for a bit of R&R on the beach and in the bars at Hurghada in their last night in a hotel before the final 3 days of the rally, which take them back to Cairo. We had a chance to talk to Fred Gallagher.
Places where you had to be awake, let's say, because it was really just a square. But coming to the finish here, if you followed the heading, it was an enormous barbed wire fence. So we had to go around it. Yeah, but it went okay. But sadly our teammate rolled, so he seems to be out.
Well, you heard Fred there mention about a problem for his teammate, Alain Ambrosino, the man who's second overall in the rally at this point and closing today on side Al-Hajri, who was taking things easily. Ambrosino pushing hard, everything to win for at the moment. Frenchman born in the Ivory Coast. And this is what happened. There was an enormous accident. Just 70 kilometers into the stage, he believes he hit a rock hidden in some vegetation. The Citroen rolled many, many times, and Ambrosino very, very shaken indeed. So we had a chance, when our helicopter came down, to talk to his co-driver Alan Gueniec, just try and find out exactly what happened. The car absolutely destroyed, and Citroen taking another blow. There is Alan Ambrosino just being comforted by the doctors, fortunately not hurt badly. We talked to Alan Gueniec. Gueniec tells us
Même pas un choc, pas une pierre.
they don't know what happened, they were just going very fast, they hit something, they don't know what was there, they think afterwards it was a rock. The car went end over end a number of times, he doesn't know how many times. It's an absolute mystery, he says how it happened. He's worried about driver Ambrosino, but the good news tonight is that both of them quite unhurt, but the car absolutely destroyed, just both suffering from shock and of course out of the rally. Well, this all means of course that Said Al-Hajri, who was second on the stage today behind Timo Salonen, is now leader of the rally by 3 hours and 20 minutes, and this is with 3 days still to go. Tonight, as they came back to Hurghada, the Raiders have completed 3,575 kilometers since the start of the rally last Sunday. There's another 1,200 kilometers and 3 days ahead of them. Al-Hajri now, as I said, with 3 hours and 20 minutes in hand, can afford to take things a little easy, and tonight the second man in the rally is Timo Salonen, because Jean-Louis Schlesser also has had a problem. Schlesser had failure of a water pump, and he lost 1 hour and 20 minutes waiting for his teammate Hayev Kotel, who's his chase car man in the other of the Schlesser buggies, to catch up and get his water pump fixed. Schlesser made it tonight back to Hurghada, but whether or not he can continue tomorrow, we will not know until tomorrow. The Said Al-Hajri coming in on the beach, Magawish Beach in Hurghada, end of the long stage, leading the rally by that massive amount. From Salonen, Schlesser though amazingly still in third place ahead of Pierre Lartigue. And there is the beach and that resort. Pierre Lartigue, where is he? There he is. Still running as hard as ever, third fastest today on the stage. Just 3 minutes behind Al-Hajri. Lartigue, an incredibly quick man all the time, former truck driver. He's been raiding since 1983. Won the Atlas Rally, the Tunis Rally, the Baja Aragon, the Algiers Rally, Paris, Peking, and finished second on the Paris-Dakar. Man has done everything. Well, coming up behind now, Jean-Pierre Fontenay and Andretta. This is some of the jumps you see on the rally here. Very, very hard indeed on the cars. That is Andretta with a very rough sounding Pajero at the moment. As Fontenay comes along the same track, he is now moving right up the order very fast indeed. Fontenay into 5th overall tonight, leading T2 class with that championship in sight now, despite a broken drive shaft and an oil leak today. Well, there's the order: Al-Hajri, Salonen, Schlesser, Lartigue and Fontenay. And the good news, as we said, certainly for Ambrosino and Gueniec, that they were uninjured, but another blow for Citroen. We're going to be taking a look at the bikes on Stage 8 today, Stage 9 today, Day 8. Stay with us on Eurosport. Welcome back to Eurosport's coverage of the Pharaohs Rally. Day 8 special stage 9 as we look at the truck section of the rally with Pelichet, who at the moment is second overall in the trucks, running 18th on the road. Great performance by these trucks, who not only racing amongst themselves but also doubling as service wagons for the car and bike competitors. Pelichet at the wheel of his Mercedes Unimog, smallest of the trucks on the event. 6 trucks left running out of the 31 cars that made it back to Hurghada tonight. And behind Pelichet, running in 3rd overall, there he is, that is Karl Barrel, another of the Mercedes Unimogs, and he is 20th overall. Very close to Pelichet, but the man still leading the truck brigade at the moment, also in a Unimog, is Mauricio Traglio of Italy. Here he comes. Traglio 15th overall in the truck section. Great performance by these drivers who are having to push hard day in, day out. And it's just as tough for them as it is for the cars. There's the Coca-Cola truck of Traglio, who's been leading the truck section for 5 days now. Obviously coming in a lot later than the cars and the bikes because it's that much slower for them, but nonetheless well up in the overall order. Flags up and yet another mass start, just as we saw yesterday here on the beach at Hurghada, as they race off at the start of the 267-kilometer loop into the eastern desert, the mountains, and back to Hurghada tonight. So the story of the bikes, not a lot of change. Jordi Arcaron still leading from Eddie Orioli and Franco Pico. Those three dominating the whole event, and now more than 4 hours ahead of the man in 4th place. I should say lady in 4th place, because of course it is Jutta Kleinschmidt. This is Jordi Arcaron's leader of the rally. But the news today is that he did not win the stage. He didn't even finish second, he finished 3rd. In fact, Eddie Orioli, his Albatross teammate here on the overtaking lane, won the stage today. First stage win on this event for Orioli. Franco Pico is second, his second 2 stage wins he's had. He was second today. Arcaron's just letting him go ahead a little bit, but really not much in it, because the 3 of them were covered by 4 seconds at the finish. Great shots from the Eurosport helicopter. Here is Franco Pico, the Milan dentist, riding his KTM 600 against these 2 Cagiva 750s. The 3 of them most of the time within sight of each other today. This is one of the rare times they weren't, heading towards one of the mountain ranges through which they have to find, with the help of their compasses, a safe route through. Number 40, this is Cristanelli. Eric Cristanelli of Italy on his Yamaha. Cristanelli putting in a great performance on the 660cc bike to finish 4th on the stage today. Just 14 minutes behind Arcaron's, and Jutta Kleinschmidt in 5th place. On the stage, and
Bueno, mira, son 3 minutos solo de
Still fourth
diferencia que llevo
overall.
a
Well, Jordi Arcarons tells us about today how we raced very close together. He said we didn't want to lose each other.
Cada uno va por su
He
cuenta.
said somehow Franco
Entonces
Pico
nos
got up
marcamos
in with
muy
us,
de
and
cerca. Donde va él voy yo, y a
well,
veces
the
donde voy
three
yo
of
va
us all
él.
rode together. It was difficult,
siempre
but
intentamos
nothing
al
to be
final,
gained
pues,
because we
sacarnos
still have
esas
some time in hand
diferencias
over
en
Franco.
segundos. Pero ya te digo, siempre llevando un control uno encima del otro.
1 hour 52 minutes back. We asked about the final stages to Caro, 3 days
Sí,
to
yo pienso
go.
que ahora
Are there any team orders? He
faltan
said,
3
well,
etapas
we both
y
want to
cada vez
be
estamos más
first
cerca de lo
back
que
to
puede ser un
Caro.
sprint final, ¿no?
He said,
Él, supongo que
so I just think we see how it goes over the next 3 days.
para intentar ganar y
There's
yo
3 minutes
intentaré no
between us.
dejarme, ¿no?
Very
A ver
dangerous
si puedo
today, he
mantener estos
tells
3
us.
minutos de
We were
diferencia.
completely on the limit, but I was really having to look out for my colleagues there. So that's the story of the bikes tonight. Quick service for the Cagiva back at Hurghada. This is the Red Sea, where tonight they have a final chance to have some relaxation. Arcarons, Orioli, Pico, Kleinschmidt and Marmaroli, and tomorrow they head back towards the Nile Valley to Samalut on a 324-kilometer special stage. Total riding tomorrow, 604 kilometers. This has been Mark Cole. This has been the Pharaohs Rally on Eurosport. Join us again tomorrow for stage 10.
And you will find